Last night, I read a piece in New York Magazine about marriages falling apart over politics since Trump is elected. And the women in these pieces, especially the left-wing women, were nuts. They were nuts. And I know some of these women, by the way. I know women like this. And they were nuts. And sometimes they left their husbands or dissed their husbands or bullied their husbands or disrespected their husbands because their husbands, not that they didn't hate Trump, but they didn't hate him enough, okay? Let me read some of their testimony. Here's one woman who says, part of what causes fights is that I don't want to hear his side. And he hates that. I can't imagine why he would hate that. Mostly I tell him he needs to think about this more clearly before he talks to me about it, and then I walk away. I've heard his side for 30 years. I'm ready to hear new points of view. Change can't happen if we keep talking about excusing behavior. I mean, if your wife is talking to you like that, you're in big trouble. I mean, this is not the kind of wrath you want to deal with from the woman in your household. I mean, it's a horrible way to treat people. Another woman says the same thing, talking about Brett Kavanaugh. She said, we had some friends over for dinner and we had an argument about whether this kind of trial by mob that's happened in the press is unfair. My friends, a man and a woman, took the position that a man shouldn't have his reputation ruined because of an allegation. I disagreed. And as the conversation kept going, I got upset. Finally, I said that it's obvious none of them had been sexually assaulted. And I think that the statistics bear out that women never get due process when they've accused somebody. The accuser doesn't get due process. The accused gets due process because he or she is the one with everything on the line. My line is, she says, cultural change is like a steamroller. It flattens distinctions and some people will get hurt, and I'm okay with that. You know, I mean, that's like me, that's like a rich guy saying, yeah, well, poverty is painful and some people get hurt. I'm okay with that, I mean, that's a woman who's lost her mind and lost her way. It was interesting. The only couple here that actually worked things out was the one couple where, in the article, where the woman supported Trump and she was willing to let her husband's leftism go and just be kind about it. And he had to be convinced, but ultimately they compromised. These women who are talking nonsense like this, and the women of the Me Too movement, such as it's represented in the press, not the real Me Too movement, where women are saying, "Hey, stop abusing us," with which I'm completely in sync. I'm completely in favor of not abusing women, but these women who are so angry that they're willing to get rid of due process, that they're not willing to listen. I've heard enough of this. I'm not going to listen to anybody anymore. That kind of attitude. These women were not brought on. This was not brought on by Donald Trump. This was brought on by 30 years of protecting the Clintons and burying these stories so that Bill Clinton first and then Hillary Clinton didn't have to be exposed. Bill Clinton was legitimately, convincingly accused of rape. And now the left, and there's a documentary that's doing it, and there's other places where they're doing it, they're starting to take these stories seriously, but they suppress them, and they suppress them right through the last election. If you are angry, ladies, and believe me, I've heard some of these stories, I understand you have a right to be angry. It's not because of Donald Trump. It's because of the Clintons running the left and suppressing these stories for 30 years.